First, let me just say that there is no room in the Republican Party for anti-Semitism or white supremacy. And anyone meeting with people advocating that point of view, in my judgment, are highly unlikely to ever be elected President of the United States.
Well, see, that's all well and good saying this now, Mitch, but let's say they're the nominee. Would there still be no room in the party? Because the thing is, I remember good and well you saying this.
You said Donald Trump's actions preceding the January 6th insurrection were a, quote, disgraceful dereliction of duty. How do you go from saying that to 2 weeks later saying you'd absolutely support Donald Trump if he's the Republican nominee in 2024?
Well, as the Republican leader of the Senate, it should not be a front-page headline that I will support the Republican nominee for president.
Today, Mitch McConnell, in no uncertain terms, came for Donald Trump after the former president dined with and furthermore failed to denounce known anti-Semite and all-round piece of shit, Nick Fuentes.
And anyone meeting with people advocating that point of view, in my judgment, are highly unlikely to ever be elected President of the United States.
Now, his comments were followed up by lies from Kevin McCarthy in which he claimed that Trump did condemn Nick Fuentes.
What about the railroad?
No, I don't think anybody should be spending any time with Nick Fuentes. He has no place in this Republican Party. I think President Trump came out 4 times and condemned him and didn't know who he was.
Well, he just said he didn't know who he was. He didn't condemn him or his ideology.
Well, I condemn his ideology. It has no place in society.
What is your
And
take
what about the former president? All Republicans be calling that out?
The president didn't know who he was. And the
He
president
knew
is
Kanye West.
You know what? He's been. So he knew who Kanye West is. He didn't know who Fuentes is. Yes, sir.
I mean, he condemned him as much as he condemned the Proud Boys that time.
But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
white
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and white
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what.
Now, there's not a slimmer of doubt in every bone up and down this pale Scottish body that these so-called condemnations come merely after Mitch and his cronies crunch the numbers on Trump.
The reaction to Trump's announcement has been relatively quiet. We heard the expression, the magic is gone. What do you think? Is the magic gone?
I think that this election was the funeral for the Republican Party as we know it.
They had a front row seat to the red wave that never was. In fact, it was milder than a splash in a dry puddle. So in response, across the board, we've seen Republicans slowly but surely distancing themselves from Trump. Even the most MAGA deranged ones, like Lauren Boebert.
I would not turn my back on President Trump. I am a huge supporter of his. But with that, I love Governor Ron DeSantis. He is America's governor, and he has the same policy.
But since I, like many Americans, have that thing called memory, I'm wondering if these will be words and nothing more. Seeing as those very same words, free from action, were used when Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar attended and spoke at a white nationalist conference organized by the very same known white nationalists, but after which, well, no action was taken, and it's since been forgotten about.
There is no room in the Republican Party for anti-Semitism or white supremacy.
So how can anyone take these words seriously, especially considering Mitch McConnell himself has openly admitted that there are very few things a Republican nominee could say or do that would cause him to retract his support if that person was to be chosen to be the Republican nominee for president?
How do you go from saying that to 2 weeks later saying you'd absolutely support Donald Trump?
Well, as the Republican leader of the Senate, it should not be a front-page headline that I will support the Republican nominee for president.
So this is like Groundhog Day for the Republican Party. Trump continues to lie about January 6th, continues to push the envelope with those lies. But McConnell, if the guy's on the ballot, I'm going to vote for him and support him.
So you know what? Let's just keep an eye on where those alleged morals go if Trump happens to be the nominee, shall we?
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.